It was not the kind of closing ceremonies race organizers at Grandma's had planned for the 10th annual marathon. The furious summer gale hit with little warning and the force of a November nor'easter.
Everyone was having a good time. Things were just starting to kick into gear. All of a sudden, just like that, the wind shifted. The rain was coming sideways. The tents just started lifting up. Everybody was kind of hanging out over by that tent over there, and then this one dropped, and then panic, and the transformers were blowing up all over. It was pretty chaotic. And then people started rushing in towards the building, so we had to open up one of the garage doors on the Geno's building to evacuate some of the people because there were so many. I don't know.
Contractors building the I-35 extension near the Duluth Arena will have a little more work to do on Monday than they might have thought when they left the project yesterday. If there wasn't a bona fide tornado in downtown Duluth, you wouldn't have known it here. It was the kind of storm that presented Twin Ports Harbor viewers with a number of strange sights, but none perhaps as strange as the sight of the Joshua Hatfield. The retired ore carrier had been awaiting the scrapyard near the port terminal, but her last trip was a special one and gave residents of a nearby apartment building something to remember her by.
Wind was blowing at about between 50 and 70 miles an hour. The boat was moving straight in and suddenly stopped. It ran aground. Trees were blowing down, debris was flying around, and that's about it.
A number of smaller boats in this marina had experiences that were shared at similar locations around the waterfront. Lots of damage, but no serious injuries were reported. And for some pleasure seekers, it was just another evening cruise. With photographer Jim Yunker, Jeff Potts, Channel 3 News.
The change in weather seemed to catch everyone by surprise. A few thousand people were just beginning to celebrate Grandma's Marathon last night when 70-mile-per-hour winds slammed into Canal Park.
We were just kind of hanging out here. Everyone was having a good time. Things were just starting to kick into gear. All of a sudden, just like that, the wind shifted. The rain was coming sideways. The tents just started lifting up. Everybody was kind of hanging out over by that tent over there, and then this one dropped, and then panic. And the transformers were blowing up all over. It was pretty chaotic.
About a half dozen boaters on the lake were surprised too. High winds and waves capsized at least 2 fishing boats.
It was calm, and then all of a sudden it was real dark. And boy, when it hit.
4 mothballed ore boats broke loose from their moorings, 3 drifting 3 miles to Superior, 1 becoming grounded on Park Point. This morning, tugboats began trying to pull the Joshua Hatfield free. While that was going on, area residents began cleaning up. Most damage was limited to trees which had blown onto cars or houses or power lines. By morning, Minnesota Power estimated up to 10,000 people had been without power. Only about 300 customers remain without power now. Strong winds also rolled over trailers and blew roofs off garages.
The wall here, that has to be replaced. We've got that wall that came down.
Residents of Cloquet saw a lot of damage too. One tornado was reported a few miles away in Carlton. The Cloquet Cemetery saw much of the damage, trees and gravestones blown over.
We were sitting in my living room there, and it just came. It came faster and faster. It was like a hurricane. It was just waves and waves, and a bird was flying backwards, got knocked into our front window, and there's rocks getting hit up against our window, and I don't know, it was the worst storm to ever come through here.
7 trees blew down at the home of Terry Hall, 1 crashing onto the house, hailstones damaging the garage.
Came home and found trees crisscrossed, 2 of them laying on our house. Roof is damaged, the shingles are damaged. I've been working all day cleaning up the mess.
That's what many people spent today doing, but the storm wasn't limited to Minnesota. Damage was just as severe in Wisconsin. Catherine O'Keefe has that story.
Most of the lights are back on in Superior, and considering some 12,000 water and light customers were in the dark last night, that's quite an accomplishment. But getting the lights back on was the easy part for some Superiorites. Toppled trees, curled back roofs, and snapped power lines were just some of the things awaiting many residents this morning. One funnel cloud was sighted in Superior last night, and another did touch down in Gordon, Wisconsin.
It was just incredible. It just happened just in a split second, you know. It was just calm, and then all of a sudden it was just things flying all over the place. It was quite a storm.
It was really weird because the temperature was like 85 degrees, and then all of a sudden it just started getting dark, and just like the snap of my fingers, it was really windy.
Winds up to 75 miles per hour were being blamed for damage all over the city. Harvest States Cooperative's grain elevator, located in Superior's north end, had an entire conveyor belt collapse. Preliminary damage estimates there are up to $1 million. Strong winds peeled back the roof on the Village Bowl in Superior's south end.
Got a call at home that the roof had blown off. It had blown on over to 3 cars in the parking lot.
Emergency crews are working around the clock to remove debris, and by tomorrow the entire Superior Public Works Department will be devoting all of their time to tree removal. But the city is asking for residents' cooperation. People with limbs and branches to be removed from their yards are being asked to place them as close to the curb line as possible. The people of Superior can't remember when a storm of this magnitude has made its way through the city. The cleanup here is expected to last all week long. But crews from all over the state of Wisconsin will arrive here tomorrow and help aid the city in cleaning up. In Superior, with photographer Dave Stokes, Catherine O'Keefe, Channel 3 News.
"4 years and 1 month ago, 5 city officials donated $5 apiece to begin funding Ashland's dream, the Bay Area Civic Center. Since then, private donations from Ashland businesses and citizens have constructed the $670,000 project.
Well, I think it really is a mark of a progressive community that's going places, that a city of 10,000 could come up with the amount of money that was put into this facility, and it's all private money. We didn't get state and federal grants. We constructed this because of a lot of dedicated people.
The new facility will house a hockey rink as well as a multi-purpose community arena. City officials expect the Civic Center to bring more money into Ashland, an added bonus for the community.
We're hoping that all area communities will try to use the building as well. And we feel that through the hockey games and through the different events that we'll be having, we'll be creating a new revenue source, which is not coming from our own people, but from people with outside the community.
For many years, the Bay Area Civic Center has been only a dream for the people of Ashland, Wisconsin. But today, 4 years of hard work and dedication has made that dream a reality. In Ashland, Catherine Walsh, Channel 3 News.
24-year-old John Bushy has been maneuvering his way out of locked boxes and straitjackets for most of his life.
Ever since I was little, I got locked around a pole in the basement of my house, and I couldn't get out. I was down there for like 7.5 hours before my dad let me out.
The Duluthian is a magic fanatic. He collects trick handcuffs, locks, posters, and more. And his idol, the great Harry Houdini. And today, if he's able to escape from this full-body straitjacket that's believed to have been Houdini's, he can add that to his collection.
I've done straitjackets, I've done a lot of handcuff escapes and things, but I've never done anything with a full body.
Despite his uncertainty, the show must go on. Members of his club, Duluth Mystics Magic, help him into the suit, making sure it's secure with chains and buckles. And he's out. In less than 3 minutes, Bushy escapes. And how does he feel?
Great. Well, a little tired, but really happy and proud now to own this jacket. And like I say, this very well could have been worn by my idol, Harry Houdini.
Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
National Weather Service forecasters would not comment on camera today, but they did say the civil defense warning sirens in Duluth should have been activated Saturday. At 5 o'clock, a tornado was sighted 10 miles south of Floodwood moving east. At 5:25, 3 tornadoes touched down south of Floodwood. At 5:40, a tornado was spotted 8 miles southwest of Carlton. At 6 o'clock, 55-mile-per-hour winds were reported near Duluth International, 75-mile-per-hour winds near Duluth Harbor. Still later, a funnel cloud was spotted in Superior. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning at 5:30, meaning our area was in imminent danger of a tornado. In such cases, the Weather Service notifies the State Patrol, which in turn is supposed to notify the Duluth Communications Center. Operators then sound the alarms, but city officials say they weren't notified.
What we're looking into is what information came into our communications center. And as I have it thus far, and we're still looking into this, we did not receive all of that information. we did not have enough information to make a judgment or to make a decision on and run the sirens at that point.
City officials say the State Patrol didn't pass any information along. State Patrol officers couldn't be reached for comment. Wolf says the foul-up shows the vulnerability of the system and something city officials and weather forecasters say should be changed. National Weather Service forecasters say the failure of the sirens to sound may have been a blessing in disguise, forcing city officials to reevaluate the city's storm warning procedures. It appears that may already have happened. At least 2 city councilors say they want to know why the sirens didn't sound, and they plan on bringing it up at tonight's city council meeting. Kurt Ludlow, Channel 3 News.
Duluth Parks Department workers spent most of today sawing through some of the hundreds of trees that were downed by Saturday's storm.
Right now it's just clearing out these trees. That's about it. And, you know, and brush and clearing out the creek, because you can see they're out laying in a creek and stuff there.
Some were split right down the middle or uprooted by the nearly 80-mile-per-hour winds. Virginia Nyquist of West Duluth spent most of yesterday and today cleaning up her yard, but the work, she says, hasn't been so bad.
Our cleanup has been just great. Everybody has pulled together and all come over with saws, power saws and buck saws, and we all chopped in and climbing around in the tree and got it off the house.
Cleanup for some residents, however, hasn't even begun.
We don't know, but we wish they would come and take it off because it's cracking upstairs in the bedroom.
Meanwhile, hundreds of Minnesota Power workers continue to restore power to some of the 300 homes that remained without electric yesterday. Officials say power, though, should be restored by late tonight. Salvagers working to free the stranded Joshua Hatfield will resume their efforts tomorrow morning.
City officials aren't sure yet what the damages of Saturday's storm will total, but they say they are sure they hope they never see such hurricane-like weather sweep through the area again. Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
Way to look for a parking place. I don't think there isn't anybody on there. 4 feet?
No, it's they're going to junk it. What they're going to do is just for scrap.
We're tied up across the bay. What was it at, Ascon or the scrap yard?
Just coming across.
Railroad cart weight, you know, about approximately
400,000.
I didn't see too much though. Yes.
Get that welcome sign on the ground. Should I go lean it up?
It's a way to put disadvantaged kids to work, and it's a program that's been working for over 10 years. This year, the Summer Youth Employment Program will employ 265 economically disadvantaged youth, ranging in age from 14 to 21. Most of the kids just started work today at over 100 sites around the city.
We have them up at Benedictine Health Center doing housekeeping, kitchen aid, grounds maintenance, building maintenance. We have clerical people working in UMD. We have lab techs working in several departments at UMD. We have 5 people working on the boat project down by the arena. We have people cleaning up streams. We have people at the zoo. All of the Parks and Rec facilities have some of our young people working for them.
The youth work between 20 and 40 hours a week, depending on their age. They all work for 8 weeks and get paid $3.35 an hour.
There aren't as many kids working this year as there were last year, though. The program was cut back 27%, so there are close to 100 fewer slots available.
We have far more job site requests than we have dollars to serve young people in those positions.
Organizers say the project is a good one for everyone involved. The kids get summer jobs and employers get unfinished projects completed. Lisa Molaski, Channel 3 News. Shippers associations aren't new. They've been in existence for 80 years, but they are a relatively new idea to the Arrowhead region. People who have been involved in shipping associations say because northeastern Minnesota is rather isolated from other markets, and because there are a large number of small and medium-sized firms, the area is perfect for a shippers association.
Now, the basic idea behind a shippers association is to consolidate smaller shipments into truckloads or other volume quantities.
An association tries to do two things for a company. It tries to find the most economical means of transporting merchandise with the best possible service. The Minnesota Intermodal Shippers Association in St. Paul is an example of an association that has worked for many Minnesota firms.
That group grew from 9 firms in the Twin City area in 1972 to over 350 at present date. And those people have saved millions of dollars.
Businessmen at today's meeting must now decide whether such an association is a feasible option for them. Lisa Molaski, Channel 3 News. Lane Townsend has been raising maple trees for syrup for about 16 years, but Saturday's storm just about wiped him out. Gone are about 1,500 trees, or about 150 gallons of syrup.
Probably have to say from a third to a half of the trees in the back 240s were taken down, so it's kind of a mess.
The storm came at a particularly bad time for the Townsend family. They were trying to rebound from a very slow year last year. Because of poor weather conditions, they got less than half the syrup they usually do. But syrup isn't all the Townsend family of 12 lives off. They also sell birch, and much of the wood from those downed trees can be salvaged.
It's a good thing we didn't get a real twister, which would just really mangle the trees and twist them and break them and shred them, and then a lot of what's left isn't any good.
Townsend says it'll take him about 2 years to clear all the trees off his 120 acres. Damage from Saturday's storm will cut the Townsend's income by at least 50%. But they're not dwelling on the negative, because when nature plays such a key role in your livelihood, you learn to take the good with the bad. In Esko, this is Lisa Molaski, Channel 3 News.
It is the Smoky Lake Reserve, a 13,000-acre private hunting area with 8 lakes on the Wisconsin-Michigan border. It doesn't appear, as some might call it, like shooting an animal against a fence or catching a fish out of a barrel. It's a safe hunting environment with at most 40 hunters on the heavily wooded reserve, which is surrounded by a 10-foot fence. No barbs. A ranger accompanies each hunting party to a specific area. No action, though. It's not the time of year to hunt. It's not more harsh for elk and deer and other animals here, more harsh than public land. Game animals don't stay injured, and they won't starve in winter.
What kind of people come here?
They're busy executives, professional people, some family people, their wives and children during the summer months. But
Owner Phil Christensen has about 200 members with different membership privileges. Only 3 pay $6,000 for the complete membership. He began his game farm 23 years ago, turning around a faltering timber business. The reserve is complete with hunting dogs, pens for propagation and special care for some wild animals, secluded lodging, and other amenities. Rustic, comfortable, but not opulent. It's not an easy business to run. Christensen says he reached success in this business, sometimes learning by painful mistakes.
Well, we've had about 23 years of this, and as I said, we know a lot of things of what not to do, but what to do is still in the offing of.
DNR officials from Wisconsin and Michigan regularly inspect the reserve, since the land lies in both states.
At 10, I'll look at what the surrounding community thinks of this game farm and about starting a game farm now. Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
Breed red deer, and you have nothing to sell to a zoo. We just sell the offspring.
I see.
So pure red deer.
In the area, for the most part, know nothing about.
Find out the hard way, huh? See, now, all of these trees, that's a fence, goes all the way around, way back.
This is part of the land that Minneapolis area businessman Jerry Legro wants to convert to a game farm or private hunting area, 8,400 acres in southwest Douglas County. It's a varied terrain. Parts of it are much more rugged than a similar large reserve in northeast Wisconsin, one for which Legro is patterning his development after. This is also a controversial area. People have expressed concern for human and environmental safety, also animal welfare. Superior Douglas County Development Association Director Mike McNamara says there are major differences between Legro's proposal and the reserve in northeast Wisconsin.
You know, we are looking at the other recreational facilities, Spirit Mountain, Monolac. Those certainly could be impacted by this. What he's trying to do is cater to the entire family.
At Legro's proposed development, hunting won't be the only game. Plenty of other recreation, including family recreation, would be available.
The construction techniques and things are a lot different than they were 23 years ago when the Phelps operation was started. So I really, think there is going to be some differences as far as time affecting it.
At the Northeast Wisconsin Reserve, it took 3 years just to get a 17-mile fence up before a game license was issued, and 8 years before the animal population could maintain itself.
I guess if I can equate that to anything, when we were building Barker's Island, people were saying, you'll never fill that marina because nobody could ever afford to go and buy a boat.
Jerry Lagro's business venture may seem like a pipe dream for some people, but for others, it's a different but sound business venture. Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
Then all we have to do is just go back and edit. Or that's all I have to do.
Thousands of people have been through the doors at Iron World USA already, and it's only been open for 2 days. After being closed for 18 months, the former Iron Range Interpretive Center has been totally revamped and expanded. The newest attractions are an outdoor amphitheater that seats 1,600 and an authentic 1915 steam locomotive and trolley system to take visitors out to the old mining sites. The result is an industrious operation that won't quit when the weekend is over.
What's really great about Iron World USA versus the days of the Iron Range Interpretive Center is that every day is a happening here. Our program, whether you come on a Monday or a Sunday or a Tuesday, doesn't make any difference. The railroad chugs, the trolleys running.
Iron World's success is not only being measured by the numbers passing through its gates, but also by the numbers of dollars passing through the local economy.
There isn't a motel room available from Grand Rapids to Eveleth, which is good, because that means although they may be at Iron World during the day, when they come back, they're spending money and doing things in the communities that they're staying at.
This weekend's feature is the 9th annual International Polka Fest, with 30 bands including big-name performers like Frankie Yankovic and Myron Florin. Iron World's official grand opening is next Thursday, just in time for the 4th of July weekend, and a bright beginning with a huge fireworks display. Karen Lind, Channel 3 News.
Are going to be believers that yes, you can make chopsticks in northern Minnesota, and you can do so very successfully.
With that comment by Hibbing Mayor Dick Nordvold and a throw of the switch by Governor Rudy Perpich, production of chopsticks in northern Minnesota began. Lakewood Industries Incorporated plans to turn out more than 1 billion of them a year, selling the eating utensils initially only to Japan, and that, say buyers, should help relations between the two countries.
I hope that these sales will, even in a small way, help to balance the trade between the United States and Japan.
The chopsticks are made of aspen, and each year they're expected to bring in more than $3.5 million to Minnesota's economy. 85 people will be employed within the plant, and 100 loggers will supply products for the company. Governor Rudy Perpich sees this project as not only positive for employment, but it's also a step toward success for the Wood Products Industrial Park.
Being competitive means building on strengths, utilizing available resources, showing imagination, and demonstrating initiative.
The chopsticks will be shipped to Japan every 2 weeks, and the first shipment is expected there in mid-July. In Hibbing, Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
Yeah, I got the fire.
Stray animals in Douglas County could be out in the cold for good starting next week. In a dispute between the county board and the County Humane Society, excess money from dog licenses, money that could otherwise go for animal care, is going unused.
Well, right now we're strictly funded by contributions and memberships. And we barely make it every year because we have other programs too, like the education for the children in the schools and so on.
In the past, the county board gave the excess dog license money to the various county municipalities for stray animals. The constables then either shot the strays or turned them over to the Humane Society to care for the animals with its own funds. But a state law says county humane societies may be designated the county pounds and receive funds directly.
The dispute between the board and the Humane Societies went over wording in the state law. The board says they don't have to give the money to the Humane Society. The Humane Society says they do.
County Board Counsel Stephen Meyer says the society will probably get the money, but beginning in 1987.
Nobody has been designated a county pound, and there doesn't have to be a county pound. Without it, I'm not sure what one does, except for, like we've been doing, if the deputies pick up a stray dog, the Humane Society has has, without any official designation, taken that on.
The Douglas County Humane Society is trying to force the county board to take action. They say they are out of money and will only take in strays for another week until the board can at least authorize money for them for the next year. Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
Wisconsin Representative Dave Obey called a public hearing today to gather testimony of the damages caused by high water levels. While residential private property has been claimed by the water, the Seaway Port Authority has also suffered structural damage.
With only one exception, the grain elevators in the port, Duluth Superior, are having a lot of problems. Water standing in the substructures, requirement to be manning pumps, pumping water out continuously.
Obey hopes the hearings will strengthen Lake Superior's case with the International Joint Council. Among the Great Lakes, Lake Superior is not alone in its high water levels, and the IJC took action at Lake Superior's expense, helping the lower lakes.
To put some of this water up on Superior and try to alleviate the flooding situation downstream. Unfortunately, that scheme backfired because of the high precipitation we got in August.
And Obey says the more populated lake areas have received better treatment than Lake Superior.
The dollar value of that property damage is higher than it is here, even though it's just as important to us, and so they try to regulate it in order to take that into account. We think that's unfair because we think that not only in economic terms, but in ecological terms.
Things were looking good in early 1986 with rainfalls 6% below the normal level for Lake Superior. But a very wet June has put many residents in danger of losing their property once again. Tonight at 10, we'll tell you what lawmakers can do to help. Janet Carvin in Channel 3 News.
The 1986 budget, which was approved by the City Council, calls for over $850,000 worth of reinvestment in the city's park system.
During his State of the City address last January, Duluth Mayor John Fido made a special point of drawing attention to one of the city's greatest natural treasures. This is what he was talking about. Congdon is just one of several creeks and small streams that wind their way through the city's residential neighborhoods, adding a special flavor to a city whose park system already approaches some 12,000 acres in size and is getting better all the time.
This is the more subtle beauty of Duluth, and it belongs to the people of Duluth, the residents. It's theirs, and all we're trying to do is to point out that it's there for them to use and to really experience some of the things that make Duluth the great city to live in.
Fido says much of the beauty of his plan to help Duluthians rediscover their park system lies in the fact that the basics have been there all along, ever since the WPA program first helped develop the infrastructure more than 50 years ago. And now the emphasis is on just making it accessible and appealing once again.
We're trying to reconstruct what originally was put in. We're looking at rebuilding the bridges as they were first constructed. We're looking at rebuilding some of the fences, some of the original stone walls, the stone pathways. Not trying to change a whole lot, but just trying to bring it back into a condition that is in keeping with the natural beauty.
In the weeks to come, we'll be looking at some of the more than 30 other parks in Duluth, and once again focus on some of Duluth's most beautiful and best-kept secrets. Jeff Potts, Channel 3 News.
Barker's Island in Superior is starting to boom for the holiday weekend. Boom with people and boom with business. Among the events on the island this weekend are a 5-kilometer run and fireworks tomorrow night. A boat show will also be there throughout the weekend. Quality Inn General Manager Rocky Kavacek says most of his inn's accommodations are booked, but not just for 4th activities.
I believe that the Duluth All School Reunion is a majority of our business this weekend, though.
He also says that since the inn changed franchises from Radisson to Quality Inns, business has been better. Barker Marina manager Jack Colley says his business should be even better this weekend than a year ago.
Well, the bookings are extremely good, much better than last year, and we're going to be sold out in terms of charter boats for this weekend, both here in Superior and in Bayfield.
Where are the people coming from?
The majority from Twin Cities market.
The SS Meteor attraction is also gearing up. Tomorrow night, they'll open their first deck to the public for the fireworks attraction. Nothing, except rain maybe, should take the bang out of Barker's Island boom. In Superior, Kathleen Chalikian, Channel 3 News.
The Masters All-Star Hockey game has been on tap for quite a while, but the recent cocaine-related deaths of basketball star Len Bias and football player Don Rogers have made the event a timely one.
In light of what we all read in the sports pages, so it seems every day, I thought it might be appropriate that that I can maybe get some Duluth athletes, UMD, and people with Duluth ties to do something positive on the chemical awareness issue.
The elite in UMD hockey history, spanning 30 years, have reunited for tonight's arena contest at 7:30. Part of the proceeds will go back into the Duluth schools and UMD athletics for drug awareness programs to be implemented by the Hazelden Foundation of Center City.
They get young people in a group or coaches together. I've seen them work with athletic directors and whatnot and talk about issues.
And the star-studded lineups hope that in a day where athletes and their drug abuses are well publicized, the youth will learn that there are still some clean heroes to look up to.
The kids, they get into drugs and they try them, but they don't really know the full effects of them. And the proceeds from the game like this to help build some programs to help them get aware and help them find out a bit more about it and the effects and what it can do to you. And
at an early age, you're approached by so many different people. Try this and try that, and no matter what you say, they're always going to be there. So I think that if you say no, you're going to be just fine.
Janet Carvin, Channel 3 News.
About 1 o'clock this morning, St. Paul police seized a kilo of cocaine they estimate is worth $500,000 on the streets. The drugs were taken from a 35-year-old Cuban woman as she carried them in a taxi from Twin Cities Airport to St. Paul. Earlier, police had staked out the airport, waiting for the woman to come in on a flight from Atlanta.
For the last 2 years, our narcotics unit has been receiving information that a female has been traveling between Miami, Florida, and the St. Paul, Minneapolis metropolitan area, delivering large quantities of cocaine.
Narcotics officers say the cocaine is flown to the United States from Colombia, and the woman allegedly acts as both a courier and a dealer for her clients, mostly Cubans living in the Twin Cities.
Very large supplier. I understand that during the last two years, this was a monthly trip.
The suspect has been the target of a 2-year investigation by city narcotics officers. They also received assistance from law enforcement agencies in Hennepin and Washington counties, as well as Dade County, Florida. Despite the size of the cocaine seized last night, police doubt that it will affect drug sales here for very long.
Tomorrow morning, the U.S. Attorney's Office is expected to file charges against the suspect for alleged violations of federal drug laws. Caroline Lowe, WCCO Television News in St. Paul.
It looks like the inside of an exclusive hotel, but it's the third-floor hallway of St. Luke's Hospital, an area St. Luke's has converted into temporary sleeping rooms for patients and families of patients.
Guest care is a hospitality service that St. Luke's developed with the assumption in mind that there are a lot of people who come through our doors that either need or want to stay on the hospital premises for a period of time.
16 units have all the comforts of home. Costs can be as low as $15 a night. Gerald Wagness has spent about 6 weeks here with his wife while she recuperates from surgery. The cost for guest care has been far less than it would have been for a regular hospital room.
It's just been a dream as far as a place to be because it's taken all of the real hard things to do away from us.
Sister Gloria Schultz has stayed in a guest care room for a couple of weeks. Her mother was brought to St. Luke's from Michigan.
It's meant a tremendous amount. Otherwise, someone from the family's been staying straight through. We'd have ended up sleeping in a chair because we wouldn't have left my mother alone.
There have been some days when all 23 beds have been full. Last month alone, almost 400 people stayed here. But St. Luke's officials emphasize they're not running a hotel, just a service that they feel reflects the changing times in the healthcare industry. Kurt Ludlow, Channel 3 News.
Flags up. Flags out.
It's not how you'd expect to find a typical 11 or 12-year-old on a fine summer morning. These kids have come to this camp outside of Brainerd, Minnesota, to learn the finer points of becoming a crossing guard.
The main things we teach the kids is pedestrian safety, how to cross the children from the school properly, how to hold their flags, and how to maintain proper obedience at the corner with the children.
The course is sponsored by the American Legion and the Minnesota Highway Patrol. And once these curb crossing cadets have mastered it, they'll return to their schools in the fall to teach other children how to become school patrol officers. But the kids don't spend all their time on drills and maneuvers. This is, after all, summer vacation.
And then in the afternoon they have swimming, boating, and lots of fun and recreation and games. It's a full-time day for them. As a matter of fact, when they get back to their barracks or the cabins at 10 o'clock in the evening, they're ready to hit the sack.
We get to go swimming, we have archery, we learn first aid, we get to have picnics and stuff.
There hasn't been a traffic death at a street corner with a crossing guard since the school patrol program began in 1921. And those who run this camp plan on keeping it that way. Near Brainerd, John Schottel, Channel 3 News.
Society is ganging up on the motorist who drinks and drives, and with each passing day it's getting more difficult for the drunk driver to escape the flashing red lights and the screeching siren that says, "Pull over." Now police are asking the cooperation of all of us in cracking down on drunk drivers, and they've made it very easy to report someone we think is drunk and dangerous on the highway. They want us to go to the nearest telephone and dial 911. In the past, we've used 911 for fire, injury, and police emergencies. Now we can dial 911 to report a drunk driver. The Department of Public Safety says the time has come to put the finger on drunk drivers. The chief of the Minnesota State Patrol tells us what to look for.
You don't have to be sure that the driver is intoxicated before you dial 911. If the person is operating the vehicle in a dangerous manner or anything that might lead you to believe that he is intoxicated, by all means use the 911 system to notify the Minnesota State Patrol or any other police agency. The things to look for would be people that are weaving out on the road, driving too fast, driving too slow, making erratic turns, making wide turns, failing to dim their headlights at night, driving at night without headlights on in an area that is fairly well lit. Those are the types of things that are unusual actions and pretty good indications of someone who might be operating under the influence.
There are more than 50,000 traffic deaths in the country every year, and alcohol is involved in more than half of them. Police think using 911 will be a big help in the crackdown on drunk drivers.
Drunk drivers are the big menace on our highways. You don't need to feel like a squealer or a tattletale if you dial 911 to report a drunk driver. You may in fact save a life or lives by dialing 911. The Minnesota State Patrol is going to be out in force over the 4th of July weekend, and we want everyone to have a safe and sane holiday on our highways.
the beautiful harbor lights behind us with the new lights of the Statue of Liberty behind us, there's still much, much more ahead of us. So stay with us.
This lighthouse, built in the early 1900s, has been the center attraction here at the Split Rock Park for many years. And because of its popularity, officials have built this $1 million-plus history center to enhance the star attraction.
We needed an orientation building like this, somewhere where we could take care of large groups, busloads of senior citizens, school groups, that sort of thing.
One attraction of the History Center is this 90-seat theater. It will be used mostly to show visitors a film about the site, but it will also be used for guest speakers and presentations. Visitors can learn about commercial fishing and tourism on the North Shore from the many exhibits that will be displayed here. And parkgoers believe that when the doors open, the new information center will complement the park.
I'm interested in learning all about Minnesota, and we just came from Gooseberry State Park and looked at all the books and pamphlets, so I think it's nice that you get to know more about the area you're visiting.
I think it'll be an added attraction. I would come up here anyway, even if they didn't have that historical center, but yeah, it should be nice.
The center will open in August, and visitors can look for the North Shore Information Center to celebrate its grand opening in September. At Split Rock Park, Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
Cutting room film. A birch drill song.
When the Lakeside Land Company was plotting residential areas in their small community in East Duluth nearly a century ago, they thoughtfully set aside a portion of land for public use along the Lester River. By November of 1890, the area had grown to 47 acres, and today is one of Duluth's most spectacular city parks.
Deeps. I'm sure everyone has heard of the deeps. Either they've swum there, or they've observed them at one time or another, or they've heard about them. In fact, one of the ads that the city put out in the Twin Cities area this past month and a half or so was a picture of the deeps, and it was just absolutely gorgeous, and the reviews we got of that particular ad were unbelievable.
But response to the city's efforts to rediscover Duluth's parks have not come from the Twin Cities alone.
It's a beautiful place. It's just beautiful for the kids to come. My kids spend almost half their summer just walking through the park.
Well, I'm glad to know that people are using
We
it.
appreciate it. It's beautiful.
Fido says those types of comments are exactly why the city is making a renewed effort to spruce up the city's parks.
A few people, unfortunately, like to vandalize, and the biggest and best deterrent that we have to keep vandals away from a public investment like this is to have regular people use them. Because if regular people are around, if our families are using the parks, vandals never come close.
We've opened them up so that people can see, they have a better feeling of safety. We've improved the walks and the bridges, and to make them more utilitarian to the people. And I think we have to do a better job of telling our story so that the local citizens know that they're there and they can enjoy them.
Lester Park is located between 60th and 61st Avenues East above Superior Street and is one of the city's most accessible treasures. If you haven't been there for a while, it's easy to find, and you'll be pleasantly rewarded for your efforts. Jeff Potts, Channel 3 News.
I played here in 1927 in Duluth. They must have liked me because here it is 59 years later and I'm back again.
With a constant joke balanced on the tip of his tongue, entertainer George Burns is indeed back in Duluth, arriving last night to a crowd of cheering fans. The comedian doesn't look any of his 90 years, and he doesn't act his age either. Always a ladies' man, Burns arrived to meet the press today clutching Miss America Susan Aiken, Burns turning that into a joke without a second thought.
Susan, she's Miss America. I'm Mr. Glendale.
His career began 87 years ago in New York. By age 14, he began smoking his ever-present cigar. He jokes his doctors have all urged him to quit smoking, but, says Burns, now they're all dead. The entertainer is set to film 2 more movies, and he's booked at a London theater when he turns 100. Show business has truly been his life, and Burns wouldn't give it up for the world.
If you can fall in love with what you do for a living, you'll be around for a long time. It's nice to be able to get out of bed and do something that you love to do. And I'm very lucky that I'm in show business. I love to do what I'm doing. And it gets me out of bed. I got to get out of bed. I found out I can't make any money in bed. Susan, don't listen to me. I lie. I lie a lot.
Kurt Ludlow, Channel 3 News.
These Duluth Guardsmen will be working at the Ramstein Air Force Base in West Germany. The 526th Fighter Squadron in Germany needs help to maintain its current F-4 aircraft, while others there are learning to maintain the newer F-16 airplane. The duties for the Duluth Air National Guardsmen will include maintaining the F-4 aircraft and sovereignty of the airspace.
If an unknown comes across the border and is unidentified, the command structure at NATO scrambles our air crews from the alert barn, and we have 5 minutes to respond and become airborne and identify the intruder. And if necessary, if directed by NATO, shoot them down.
The Duluth Air Guardsmen were chosen for this mission because of their experience working on F-4s. They've been doing maintenance work on the aircraft for about 10 years. Many of them are looking forward to the learning experience of going abroad.
I'm pretty excited, actually. Looking forward to it a lot. Gonna meet some new people and go into a part of the world I've never been before.
I think it's really a great opportunity for all of us. We'll probably be enjoying ourselves and working along with the other groups that's going with us, and I think it's going to be real good.
Most of the Duluth Air Guardsmen will be returning in about 4 months, but some will stay up to a year until the fighter squadron in West Germany learns to maintain the F-16 aircraft. Linda Hammond, Channel 3 News.
George Burns, Miss America, and the Oak Ridge Boys aren't the routine agenda on the Duluth entertainment circuit, so you'd expect ticket sales to be booming. They aren't.
We're far from a sellout at this point, I would say. And it would be a shame if we didn't sell out the house for George Burns. It's the first and probably the last time George Burns will ever come to Duluth for a performance.
There are a lot of good seats left for all the shows. That's nice if you intend to go, but organizers say that acts like George Burns sell out faster in smaller cities than Duluth. So why aren't tickets selling better here?
A lot of people don't understand that they can go to this. You know, we've got reports from around the region that people think these shows are just for Duluthians. Well, not true, not true. We put on these shows as, you know, to make Duluth a headliner kind of place, you know. Everybody's welcome at these shows.
Money might be the major problem. There's just an awful lot of people who feel they can't afford $30 a night to go as a couple. And if you have a family of, say, 2-3 children who also would like to go, I think that's tough for them to pay that kind of money. And that might be the major problem.
According to Miss America, Susan Aiken, it's well worth the money and a chance of a lifetime.
I don't get the chance many times to see George Burns. He's, busy, and I'm sure he doesn't come to Duluth much, so I think they should take advantage of it.
But Miss America doesn't come.
Well, Miss America doesn't come to Duluth either much.
Efforts are being made to put Duluth on the map as far as big-name entertainment goes. And for the first time, headline acts are arriving in Duluth in great number. But if public response and ticket sales don't improve, it may be the last. Catherine O'Keefe, Channel 3 News.